On today's Toy Spot, we're going to be looking at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man movie line series. This is the Sandman series. Today we're going to be looking at Mary Jane Watson. Right off the bat, I'll tell you this. I wasn't even going to pick up this figure. Not even remotely. Unless it looks better out of package, I don't know. But to me, this figure just looks disappointing. What ended up happening was, if you remember my review of the Spider-Man, I was telling this story. This line was, at the time that the line came out, it didn't do very well. I think a lot of people were soured by the smaller scale figures, and then by the time this came out, I think a lot of people were just kind of past the fact, or they by this point saw Spider-Man 3, realized bunch of crap it was, that they really didn't want to get the figures from the line. For one reason or another, by the time this line came out, these figures were peg warmers. Toys R Us, I went to the local Toys R Us a couple of times, and they were clearing these figures out at buy one, get one free. And I went back and I bought, I know I bought the Venom, the Doc Ock, because I never got a Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2. And I believe I got the black costume Spider-Man. There were several figures from this line I had zero interest in picking up, and Mary Jane Watson was really one of them. What ended up happening though, and I think a lot of people know this story, I had 3/4 of the figures. I think I was only missing 2, and I realized when I would eventually open these up, I would not have a complete Sandman, for however great the Sandman turns out to be. So I went back, I thought to myself, you know what, buy one, get one free. I waited out. I ended up going back and I picked up the Mary Jane, and I believe I picked up the Green Goblin. So I ended up getting the whole set. Buy one, get one free. It wasn't too much of a loss, but really this Mary Jane for me was not something I was going to pick up. I've really sold this figure so far, eh? Before we actually look at the figure, packaging, we've got the very attractive oh, sorry, I was choking there for a second. The very attractive Kirsten Dunst. I don't think she's attractive at all. On the back of the package, also want to point out too, I think this Mary Jane on the back looks a lot nicer than this Mary Jane here. I'm just saying. The read-up on Mary Jane says, Mary Jane spent her entire life dreaming of something better. She knew that coming home every day to her mom crying and her dad sullen and angry was just a prelude to her life. Out there in the world, there was adventure, fame, and fortune. Her fortune, as it turns out, wasn't far off. Not long after getting out of high school, she started whichever superpowered... Oh, wait. I missed a line. She started making almost a career out of getting in the middle of fights between Spider-Man and whichever superpowered bad guy he was fighting this week. What? Making almost a career out of getting in the middle of fights between Spider-Man and whichever superpowered bad guy he was fighting this week. Alright. Finding out that Spider-Man was actually her old friend Peter Parker just added to the excitement and made a lot more sense out of the crush she had on the webhead. Real name, Mary Jane Watson. Occupation, actress. Powers. Oh boy. Powers. Here we go. Let's pan up. And there we go. Powers. Patience and charm. Goals: to make it big on Broadway. Vehicle: taxis. Base of operations: Manhattan. Wow. Alright. Other figures in this wave: Mary Jane, New Goblin, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Spider-Man, Sandman, Black Suited Spider-Man, and Venom. That is packaging on Mary Jane. What we'll do, we'll get this opened up, and we will have a better look at the figure. Stay tuned. And before we actually look at Mary Jane, the piece that Mary Jane comes with is the ever-important torso of Sandman. You can tell it's the torso because he has his belt. I don't think if the belt was there, you'd probably have any idea what piece this is. Mary Jane's taking a nap. So we'll take the other pieces. As you know, we've got one leg, got other leg, and we will just snap them into place. Snap them into place. And there we've got, actually on its own, it's a nice little sculpture. You could put it on your nightstand. Somebody says, hey, what is that? I like that. What is it? You can say that is a depiction of mankind's struggle against the world. And meanwhile, all it is just an unfinished Sandman. But you don't have to tell them. And they'll say, wow, can I have that? And you can say, well, I'll sell it to you. Now, I bought it for 10 grand, but I'll sell it to you for $500. Boom, there you go, $500. You've made your money back from these figures, and you can get yourself something nice. So there you go. There's Sandman. He's coming along nicely, isn't he? Alright, so let's have a look at Mary Jane. Mary Jane comes with a 2x4. And actually, forgot to bring it in too, Mary Jane also comes with a display stand. Floorboard with, we got some sand, debris on there. You can have her standing on the board, or standing on the stand if you want. At least she comes with a stand. She also does come with the mentioned 2x4, which you can have her hold. She really doesn't hold it all that well. I'm exaggerating. No, you know what? I'm not even going to waste my time, but she does come with a 2x4 or a piece of wood. Just in case there's carpenters out there that say, dude, that's not a 2x4. Okay, it's just a piece of wood. Good or bad, you guys can decide. She does look a lot like Kirsten Dunst. I will say at least that. Her hair is awfully orange, though. Probably not quite that color in the movie. Her dress, very crudely done. I mean, no flower print or anything like that you see on the real Mary Jane in the movie. Certainly, I guess that would have involved more effort. She's sporting her boots. I'm sure those boots are made for walking. They're certainly not made for acting. I'm here all night, guys. Yeah. Well, in the way of her articulation, you can ever so slightly move her head. The hair doesn't hinder it too much, but you can still kind of move her head back and forth. She has shoulder articulation. You can move her arms in and out. You can bend the elbows. You can rotate at the hand. She's got this weird under the boob articulation. It's not as bad as the Spider-Man, so it's not that bad. Her legs can move in and out. Not really a lot because of the way her dress is, even though it's a soft plastic. She can bend her knees at 2 points. She can also rotate her feet. She can also bend her toes as well, or bend her feet as well. But there really isn't a lot going with this figure. I would say this figure is a complete pass, unless you want to put her with Spider-Man. And really, based on the black costume Spider-Man, a little out of scale, but you can put her with Spider-Man. Mary Jane, I'm gonna give a 4 to. I'm not a fan of Kirsten Dunst, which doesn't help for one thing. I didn't think she made a great Mary Jane at all, and this figure is a filler. That's what I'm gonna say. It's a filler. But that was a toy spot. Today we were looking at the Mary Jane figure. There are worse ones. I'm sure there's worse figures out there, guys. This isn't the worst of the bunch, but not a great figure. We were looking at Mary Jane. There's only a couple of reviews left, guys. And then we're going to have the finished Sandman. Who's looking forward to it? I know, nobody. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the rest of the toy spots. And I will see you guys next time. Later.